Hello, my name is Eloisa. I am a student from Tech Millennium, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the Cold War, the different countries that were involved, the principal dates, and basically a general description about this war. Well, the Cold War was the restricted conflict that developed after World War II between US and the Soviet Union. All this conflict started in May 1945 near the close of the World War II. By 1948, the Soviets had installed left-wing governments in the countries of Eastern Europe that had been liberated by the Red Army. The Cold War had solidified by 1948, and this was when US provided under the Marshall Plan to Western Europe and had brought those countries under American influence, and the Soviets had installed openly communist regimes in the Eastern Europe. Well, the term Cold War refers to a state of conflict between two nations, but it doesn't involve military action. This conflict is generally caused by political and economic actions, where countries at a war rely on the others to fight their battles. Now we are going to see the difference between socialism and capitalism economic systems. Well, first of all, capitalism is an economic system where the means of production are owned by private individuals. Means of production refers to resources including money and other forms of capital. Under a capitalist economy, the economy runs through individuals who own and operate private companies. Decisions over the use of resources are made by the individual or individuals who own the company. This system was proposed by Adam Smith. On the other hand, we have socialism. Well, socialism is an economic system where the means of production, such as money and other forms of capital, are owned by the state or public. Under a socialist system, everyone works for wealth that is in turn distributed to everyone. Under capitalism, you work for your own wealth. A socialist economic system operates on the premise that what is good for one is good for all. Everyone works for their own good and for the good of everyone else. Well, this system began in the United States with the utopian communities and the activist visionary Josiah Warren, and also international communities inspired by Charles Fourier helped socialism to rise. What countries were the world leaders during the Cold War?
I think the leaders were the United States, the Soviet Union, and Germany too.
Do you know why did countries who were allies during the wars became enemies afterwards?
What I know is that the British and the United States were not helping the Soviet Union because they were fighting against Germany. So this made the Soviet Union to come against US to betray them.
Do you know where did the Cold War take place?
It took place in a lot of countries, but mostly in the United States, the Soviet Union, Vietnam, and Europe.
What is your opinion about the Cold War?
In my opinion, the Cold War was absolutely necessary to fight against the socialist countries and force them to spend more money in armament. Thanks to Cold War, there was no World War III.
What type of weapons did the two world powers had?
I don't know exactly what type of weapons, but they were weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons such as bombs and missiles.
Well, to finish with this video, I want to give my opinion about the Cold War. And in my opinion, this war was one of the darkest and most difficult times lived in Europe and other countries around the world. However, it was necessary to finish with all those bad ideals about government. The battle between capitalism and socialism and all those things were ending the world. Both have advantages and disadvantages, but they are not useful if an agreement is not reached. That's why some countries stayed with the capitalism system and other countries changed to the socialist system. And well, that was like the conclusion of the war. And we can say that thanks to this, there was no World War III, and it was just the ending of the Second World War.